you, thank you. Please be seated. If we could have Doc Rothwell come up for the invocation, please. Doc Rothwell. Here we go, Dr. Rothwell for the invocation. Listen up. Hey.
Don't make me at easy.
Louder.
Can you hear me back there? Outstanding. Old Breed Rugby. We played with them, now we play for them. To our honored, distinguished families, we are with you. For 20 years, we have made sure that those who paid the ultimate sacrifice are remembered. The desired cap many of us wear on our wrist is a daily reminder of our brothers, an opportunity to share the story that lets them live on, an opportunity to share their legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished families, we gather here today to honor and remember the brave men and women who selflessly served our nation, protecting the freedoms and values we hold dear. Let us bow our heads in a moment of invocation.
Silence!
Moment of silence. Turn that shit off.
Yes, God. Almighty God, Master of the universe, we come before you with hearts full of gratitude for the veterans who have given their all for our country. We thank you for their courage, dedication, and sacrifice which have allowed us to live in a land of liberty and justice. As we remember those who have fallen, we ask for your blessings upon them and their families. Comfort those who mourn the loss of their loved ones and grant peace to those who still carry the burdens of their service. May your grace and mercy be upon them, providing strength and healing. Guide us, O Lord, to be mindful of their legacy and to honor their contributions by striving to build a world of peace and justice, a world where them and their families' legacy, Lord willing, will never be forgotten. Let us be inspired by their example to serve others. With the same spirit of selflessness and dedications, we pray for safety and well-being of those currently serving in our armed forces. Protect them with our mighty hand and bring them home safely to their families. Lastly, O Lord, take care of our families who are with us and those who could not be here. And Lord willing, ensure that the members of the Old Breed will always be here so that no man or woman is never forgotten, and that the legacy of the fallen and their families will always be remembered. In your holy and precious name, amen. Semper Fi.
All right, welcome everybody. Woo! Here we are again, Rugby Christmas, 20th anniversary. We're excited to have everybody here. Sorry, it makes me uncomfortable when it's this close to my beard, but I'll work around that. I'm going to be your master of ceremonies tonight. My name is Murph McCarthy. The first person I'd like to bring up, and he wants to talk a little about what Old Breed means to him, the legend, Jeffrey Preston.
Listen, this will be the only time that it will not be interrupted during a story. Yeah. Real quick, I want to tell you something that just happened to me about 45 minutes ago. So I woke up. Of course, I was late. And I was with my friend Charlotte. She's here. And I was taking the bracelet off. and Paul McDevitt's wristband had snapped. I said, shit. So I'm like, that kind of means something. It's kind of like, don't play like an asshole today. And I didn't. I played like Paul. It's kind of a sign. So I'm sitting over here eating dinner, and Cash Carlson had one in his hand. My main man, Cash. I said, hey, Cash, where'd you get that? Can you grab me another one? He said, here, take it. That's Old Breed right there. I couldn't believe it happened. I really couldn't believe it. The Old Breed. Thank you, all of you that are here. Thank you for your service. I folded the papers the wrong way. Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. No, that was my fault. But how great is that story? That just happened to me right now, because that's the Old Breed. Cash Carlson, Cash. That's Cash right there. Cash, raise your hand. He just did that. No questions asked. He gave me something. Unlike my roommates across the street. Hold on for a second. I'm on the wrong page here. What does the Old Breed mean to me? It's hard to explain to some people. How do you describe a group of people, a family, built on the mission of remembering our fallen brothers? We are Marines, a designation in my life that I can't be more proud of. We are a family. I heard Oak say it today at halftime. Marines that are dedicated to a cause bigger than anything we do as individuals. I say that this group of Marines, the family, is something that I cannot believe that I have the honor of being a part of. I played a lot of rugby at all levels. A lot of failure, a lot of success, and played with and against some of the greatest rugby players in the world. And have had a lot of incredible experiences that one can only dream of. But I'm currently standing in front of the most important people in my life. I love you all. You know what? Why are you the most important people? Because I know you are a phone call away. If I ever need anything, and I am a phone call away for all of you. I can't say that about some of my non-Old Breed friends at home. I really can't. I want to thank you all for being a part of my rugby life. That is at the very top of my rugby experiences. I'm dead serious. I love you too. Just show it to me sometime, will you? What is it? What is the Old Breed? The Old Breed is the greatest group of people that I've ever been associated with. And I'm dead serious about that at 54 years old. Never in my life. You need me to play with the 35s, I'll fucking play, all right? No big deal. I'll play with the high school team if you need me. The Old Breed is the honor of being Cash Carlson's spirit animal. The Old Breed is Mac. Mac. Where are you, Mac? Mac is the first Old Breed member I met at the VFW. At the VFW in Fort Lauderdale. That could not have been more nervous. Just getting back into rugby after 12 years. Hey. So then after having the most incredible rugby experience ever, winning both age brackets, playing 7 games, scored the winner. I have skin cancer from that day, by the way. He told me at the bar, leaving everything he had going on right at that moment, get in my truck. I'll take you to the airport. But wait, this is great. You're all gonna laugh at this. Weeks is in the truck with me. First of all, I'm like, I can't believe this guy is just he's gonna just drive me to the airport. And I didn't even ask him. He's like, he's with a bunch of his friends and family and we pull up to the airport. Weeks looks at his ticket and says, "Oh shit, mine says Miami." Mac's like, "Get out of the truck." He got him to Miami in 39 minutes, a world record, and Weeks got on his plane. Can I tell you a short story? The old breed is Tommy McDevitt. Last year, I was talking to him, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I said, "I'm gonna try." And I was trying to explain some things to him, and not explain, but just ask him some things. And I said, whatever you need. And he stopped me and said, "Hey, I don't need anything. You guys have been so great to me. You and everybody else makes me feel so good." I'm sorry, Tom, if I kind of paraphrase your words, but it was a cool moment that I couldn't understand. But knowing him and his family, he knows that we're there for them. The old breed is FaceTiming Tim Talion at 4 a.m. when he's on the toilet. The old breed is Oak. When I took a high school team out, St. Joe's Prep, out to San Diego 2 years ago, Oak shows up. They go, a couple guys, and I have parents 2 years later still asking how he's doing because he stood there and took the time because that was my team. And he explained the rules and told them this and that. And it was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, "Yo, how's that guy Oak doing?" I'm like, "I'm gonna see him in a couple weeks and I'll tell him you were asking for him." But it was cool to be coaching and look across and see 9 old breed guys watching my game. The support. I'm almost done. The old breed is tolerating me tolerating more bullshit than anyone else on this club at any time that this club's been around.
Hurry up!
No one.
Come on!
The old breed is living in the old breed is living in the bad boy house with the likes of Gillian, Shooter, Tim, Dave, Darren, Carrick. The old breed is all of you treating my friend Charlotte this weekend like she's part of the family. And she's hooked, I believe. The old breed is something bigger than all of us. The old breed is remembering 46 fallen. Do me a favor, and I don't need to say this to you, but keep the mission alive. Keep the mission alive. the younger guys, just keep it going. We gotta, just one day, just in the next month, the next year, whatever it may be, just do one thing. Donate. Be there for someone. I know that all of us are going through some stuff, how bad, how small it is. But I know that they know, and I know, that everyone here in the Old Breed is for them. Semper Fi.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And now for some family perspective, I'd like to call up Julia McDivitt and Amy Shea, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'll have my
Project, Julie.
project. I'm a kindergarten teacher, so I'm trying to project, okay? So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Julia McDevitt. These are my sons, Thomas, where President just talked about Tommy, Danny, and PJ. We lost Paul on July 4th, 2021. Those were some of our darkest moments. And I know I only have a few precious moments of your time, but I want you to know there's so many faces in here that I cannot personally thank, but you know who you are. I do want to call out just a few. Jim Blotman. Tim Tayo. Do you hear that? Tim Tayo. Stand up. Dave McPherson. And Kevin Gilligan. And we also have Morris Rugby here too, so thank you. Okay. And don't, please, and Mr. Jeff Nagel, where you taught me life is a marathon, not a race. So, I needed to write this down. Okay. I'm honored to briefly share our story of how you, the Old Breed, have become our family. What separates the Old Breed Rugby Club from most other rugby clubs is that you are a family first club. I remember 12 years ago when I first came here with our boys to the memorial ceremony, just like today. I felt so many emotions as I was surrounded by pride as each of the fallen was remembered and honored. In that moment, I realized the depth of the bond shared within the club. It goes beyond the pitch. It is about the feeling, the lifelong connections, and unwavering support you offer one another. I knew in that instant, when I looked at Paul, that is how we wanted to raise our boys. Paul has given me two of the greatest blessings in my life. Our boys. And in his passing, I've been blessed with your unconditional support and love from the Old Breed. Your kindness has been a source of strength and comfort for me. Paul was our anchor, and when he died, I remember in the car driving home, no longer a family of 5 without Paul, and reaching out to Jim Blotman. From that moment on, the Old Breed became our anchor in a storm of emotions, helping raise our 3 boys who all have different challenges in life. Not once did I feel weak when I needed to ask for help. That peace of mind was the quiet resolve of the brotherhood has allowed me the grace to move forward. You have helped our family grieve, cry, and laugh without judgment. The power of the Old Breed lies in providing strength, will, and courage to families in their darkest moments. I deeply appreciate your support during our time of need and for helping me stand tall for our family. The commitment of the old breed to never forget the fallen and their families truly changes lives. Your unwavering commitment and support have shown us how truly loved and blessed we are. The McDevitt's are humbled and proud to be part of the old breed. I know that Paul will never be forgotten as he lives on through this everlasting legacy. Thank you for being such an integral part of our journey. And to add, the old breed and Morris also added to our family and gave us a brother-in-law in Graham, right there, who married my beautiful sister. And they met at the McDevitt Cup. So thank you, Paul. I love you.
On September 14th.
On September 14th.
On September 14th, Morris and the Old Breed are having the McDevitt Cup in Morristown. So if you can make it, put it on your calendar.
Hey, you lay off Blotman over there. All right, so now it's time for a man who really needs no introduction, but he's responsible for all of us being here tonight, and he's the guy that 20 years ago said, let's do something big, and let's remember our brothers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Godfather, Jeffrey Nagel.
First and foremost, I want to apologize. I lost my voice today, but the truth of the matter is, I think the vast majority of you are happy I lost my voice, so my speech will be much smaller. I want to welcome here Lieutenant General Tulin, Major General Sparky Renforth, Sergeant Major Kurz, and Master Gunnery Sergeant Mike Garcia. I also want to welcome the Bobs, who have come here, as I see it as an honor for them to come and join us to see what we do to honor our fallen and take care of their families. And I truly hope they'll be inspired to do the same thing, since they deserve what we do for our families. Most importantly, I want to thank our most honored guest, the families of our fallen.
Yes.
I want to apologize to you all. We should have done this a long time ago for you. That was due to my lack of foresight. If you're going to be angry at anybody, be angry at me. Do not be angry at the old breed, because now you're here. We'll be here for you, as I've told all the families that have come in the past. We'll be here for you, and we'll do whatever it takes to take care of you. How did the old breed start? Kevin Shea was killed on his birthday many years ago. I got a call from the senior Marine on the Naval Academy and told me what happened. Not embarrassed to say it. I cried like a baby. Myself and Coach Flanagan called the midshipmen together from the rugby team to break the news to them. At that point, I decided that something has to be done to honor Kevin. We had no idea what would happen in the future, how many people we would lose. I remembered back to when I was a child. Both my brothers who are here today were off in college, and the Nagels have had someone in the military since the Spanish-American War. Maybe my father was trying to brainwash me, trying to encourage me, but he took me to Arlington, and we walked around Arlington, and he said to me, all these headstones stands for somebody who made the ultimate sacrifice or was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, for our nation, for the values that make us different. You never should forget them. If you don't forget them, they'll always be alive in our hearts and our minds. And he continued to tell me that we owe a debt of gratitude to their families. So when Kevin was killed by an RPG, I knew that I needed to reform the old Ghost Rider Old Boys into the Old Breed. Because what we needed to do was to honor him and to remember. And now, all these years later, 20 years later, we have numerous other members on our board. There's an old African proverb that says, as long as you speak my name, I'll always be remembered. And that is the goal of the Old Breed, to always remember. And we have morphed our mission, and it's grown to now taking care of the families, taking care of our brothers, always being there for each other. When I was a young Marine, I found an article once that explained to me what I drew inspiration from why I was a Marine. And through the years, unfortunately, it grew to different things. I remember the article was focused on the Beirut bombing. It talked about Lance Corporal Jeffrey Nation, who was buried in the rubble. He was finally pulled out of the rubble. He was medevaced to Germany, and P.X. Kelly went to visit him and the few other survivors. And when the Lance Corporal knew that the Commandant at the time was there visiting, he was frantically trying to do something. He couldn't speak, he couldn't see, but he could hear, and he knew the Commandant was there. They finally figured out that he wanted to say something, so they brought him a pad and a pen, and he simply wrote Semper Fi, going through all his injuries. And P.X. Kelly turned to his aide and goes, now I know why I'm a Marine. Well, when I see what needed to be done, when I realized that the great man Kevin was an outstanding father, an outstanding husband. We have had many others since him. I simply knew what needed to be done, and I knew why I founded the Old Breed. Years later, there was a bombing in Oklahoma City. American terrorists bombed it. Sergeant Major Mike Curtin, who was not a sergeant major at the time, was a staff sergeant, was a New York City police officer in charge of emergency management, and he was part of FEMA. He had gone to Oklahoma City as part of a relief effort. The relief effort was coming to an end because they realized no one was alive, and the building was becoming completely unstable, the Mira Federal Building. But what happened is that there was a recruiting office in that building, And when someone had found the Marine Corps and American flag and realized they found the location of where the recruiting office, and there was a Marine Corps captain, the shipping officer, that was unaccounted for. And Mike Curtin went to FEMA and said, "We're not leaving the captain in that rubble." And FEMA argued with him. "It's incredibly dangerous. We can't let you go back in." And Mike Curtin goes, "I'm going back in," and a call went out throughout the evacuation site for all Marines that are willing to go back in and risk their lives, or anybody that was willing to risk their lives. About 10 to 15 former Marines went through that rubble, knowing that at any time the rest of it could collapse in on them. They finally found a uniform with a blood stripe, and they knew they found the captain. And they dug with their hands. They pulled him out of the rubble. Word got out, and a corridor was formed. They brought him out with a flag, with due honor and respect. Manny Hernandez, who was one of those rescuers, who hadn't worn the uniform since Vietnam, said, "I know why I was a Marine that night. Well, I think about the old breed, and I think about how we ring the bell for our brothers, how we wear bands for our brothers, so that they will always be alive. We've reached out to numerous families. Some families, the wound is too much, but they're thankful when they learn what we do. Some families, and one in particular, who I've told this story before when I was at the airport in Hartford a few years ago, and I was wearing an Old Bleed black t-shirt, and a lady came up to me and said, "Oh, are you part of the Old Breed?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." It's like, "Well, just so you know, my next door neighbor, son, is one of the guys you honor, and she takes great feelings knowing that you will always keep her son alive." Well, besides that, there are a lot of the families who do not have children anymore, do not have anybody else to keep them alive, and we do. And that is what's incredibly important. That's why I am proud to be part of the Old Breed. Nairobi, Kenya, years later, there was a terrorist bombing. Corporal Muntz was in the rubble, buried alive with a fellow Marine, and he held his hand until he passed, knowing that he was there for his brother. Sergeant Maglaya, who was there, rushed into the building, fell down an elevator shaft, broke both his legs, crawled out to help in the digging. The Consul General, who was a Marine himself in the past, says, "I know why I was a Marine. I think about the Old Breed, how one of my close friends called me up. I was on TAD for work, and basically he told me he was going to kill himself. I was frantic, I couldn't get to him. I called one of our brothers. He drove 2.5 hours to go to his house, remove his guns. When he woke up in the morning, he took him to the VA. He was in 3 weeks of treatment for suicide. It just so happened the week that he got out, we had an event in Las Vegas. He will tell you that the Old Breed saved him. I see how 2 of our other brothers who went through something that no parent should ever go through, the loss of a child. I asked them if I could use their photo for this, and they will tell you the support, the love of the Old Breed saved their lives. They wouldn't be here if it was not for the Old Breed. Sergeant Major Curtin, the hero of Oklahoma City, died in the terrorist attack on 9/11. Tower 1 came down on him. I happened to know that great man when I was in 225. They took a flag and flew it
throughout Marine Corps bases in the United States, stateside, and in the retaliation that came later on. About 7 months later, as they were evacuating and cleaning the building, they came upon his body, and word got out that they found Sergeant Major Mike. The whole site stopped. Marines, EMTs, police officers, firemen, emergency workers all stopped and formed a corridor as they brought his body out. They put him on his EMT truck, and his wife Hilda, herself a Marine, jumped up to secure it. The J-PAL of Manhattan was there covering the story, breaks down in tears and goes, "I know I was a Marine." Well, for me, when I see what we have done as the Old Breed to rally behind the Williams family, this year, Ben Williams, and for me this is bookends, sadly, Kevin 20 years ago, and Ben this year, both people I played rugby with. He died of pancreatic cancer, and the PAC Act declared it was from his service in the First Gulf War. We were there to be with him, to visit the family, to make Ben's passing comfortable, because he knew that we were going to be there for his family. We ended up partnering with a company, and through the Old Breed's efforts, not just to make sure they had legal advice, financial advice, but partnering on this fundraiser and our own individual efforts. His two children, Benji, who you see later, and Tekka, are able to go to college. That is the power, and why the Old Breed is different than any other rugby club there is. I want to thank you all for being part of this incredible club. When I came back east, it was the first time that I did not have a parent to visit. My mother passed earlier this year. Very depressed. I went to the gravesite to pay my respects to my mother, pay my respects to my father. My father was an incredible man. I don't think I've ever lived up to his expectations. But I laid a coin, an Old Breed coin, on his grave, because I know, because of you, our club, he was proud of me, because I felt it. I truly felt it. And him telling me, "You lived up to what I told you through the Old Breed. You're honoring those who are no longer with us. You are taking care of their families. Lord willing, with the help of my daughter, who's my most prized possession, 30 years from now, she will drive me up here for our 50th anniversary." And we will still be doing this because of you all. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for allowing me to make my father proud. God rest the souls of our honored. God bless their families, and Semper Fi.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Godfather. We're now to the portion of our program where we're going to honor some of our fallen. You know, typically it's been a member of the club that comes up, and we're going to keep with that. But this year we've got some family members that are coming up. So first on the docket, Al Faremo and Benji Williams.
Come over out of
All right, I wrote a lot of notes here, so I just want to make sure I get to cover everything here. Can you hear me? All right, sorry about that. I wrote all the notes, so I want to make sure I cover everything here. But, so, Tala Falava, Malorole, Bula Nivaku, Kiora, and hello. O te whawhitai lava I le atua mo le neasu, mo le obri, mo le nei awanoa e talo atu lo uso Ben. E whamon more la, ono le pupu o le taimina tu in mai a te au. E tō tale o kou ngangu wha I Peritania. So o le a suki lala tala nganga I whasa Peritania e whamon more la, whawhitai lava. So I didn't think that was going to be this hard. Hello. So I guess proper introduction. My name is Masui Suya Malitoa for Raymond. Obviously, Jeff Nagle asked me to put up this stuff here because I am a chief. And being a Samoan, it's very important that we speak in our language first before we cover the English. So I apologize if that's kind of confusing, but basically what I said, was, I thank the God and the Old Breed for giving me this opportunity to talk about what we all have different reasons to come here. And I understand that. Whatever that reason is. But there's one main reason. Where's Kevin Gilligan at? And like everybody keeps talking about here, one thing. Kevin's been coming here for the last 20 plus years. What is the reason? Why do you always come here every year, Kevin?
I've been here since Jeff Nagle has always told me to be here.
We all come here, obviously, to remember people. Like, I still remember the day that Jeff Nagle assigned Kevin Shea trying to kill me on the rugby field. Back in, 1994. So I show up on the field and there's Kevin Shea running at me like crazy, 6'4", and I'm only 5'8". So, well, now when I've dropped, now I'm 5'6". Sorry. With. Sorry. All right. Then I remember a guy named Brian Hoke. I remember we were preparing a team to come to the last military national. And I was seeing this guy walking away from me. I'm thinking to myself, don't mess with him. Well, sure enough, I found out that he was a Navy SEAL. I'm glad I didn't, poke the bear because I would have been getting my ass kicked. Then I want to remember my friend Ben. Ben was a great man, awesome guy. The first time I ran into him, Kevin and I was stationed in DC, and we got somehow hooked up the sevens team for Washington, and was a bunch of Fijians, Tongan, all former Eagles players. And then we ended up playing on the team. So we used to be the Midnight Sevens. But I remember just going through the play, and I headbutt this guy over the ruck, passed the ball, and then he ran down the field, and somebody got tackled. I ran over there, and this kid came up to me with the white teeth. So I'm like, well, okay, what's going on here? Because he was star-skinned. He was Fijian, so obviously. 14 years later, he came up to me and talked to me and was like, yeah, I remember you, this and that. I was like, wow, really? Now I remember the game, because, yeah, something like that. But anyway, Ben was a great man. He took care of his family. He loved his kids, loved his wife. He's a hardworking man. He spent most of his time working. Jeff and I will always get together with him. We'll try and reach out to him and say, hey, you might want to take a little break. But because he loved his kids so much, trying to put his daughter through, you know, all the rugby stuff like that. So all that time is either rugby, work, and back to rugby. Also, he loved his son. And we're blessed to have him here today. And I'm going to give the mic for him to say something real quick about his dad. Thank you.
Can you guys hear me? Or okay, so yeah, my name is Benjamin Williams. We have the same name. We're namesakes. Pretty much, I'm here today just to like honor my dad and like tell you the type of person he was. It's gonna be a little hard for me, but I'm gonna try my best. My dad, he was like very resilient and like in the hospital, I still remember the day that I found out he got cancer. It was really tough, but he never even thought about it that way. He was like, I'm gonna get out of this. He's like, I'm gonna come to your graduation. I'm gonna come to everything. And he never gave up. He was just such a fighter, and he was so persistent. And I'm just so glad that I was surrounded with all this type of love. And I'm just so thankful to be here to get this opportunity to talk about my dad. And sorry, give me one second. I just wanted to let you guys know that in the hospital, all he talked about was Old Reed all the time, all the time. And he loved playing rugby, loved the Old Reed. That's all he ever talked about. And sorry, one second. He loved their camaraderie. He loved the brotherhood. And I'm just so thankful to be able to call his friends my family. They've Uncle Al, Mr. Nagel, and Oak. They've all been through thick and thin for me, and they even came and flew to visit my dad when he was in the hospital. And I'm just so grateful to be surrounded with that amount of love. And I'm just so happy that I get to be here. But I just want to make this a little bit short. But just to end things off, something that I'm gonna miss about him is definitely his stubbornness. Like even in the hospital, I'll try to feed him or give him water, and he would get so out of me. He just didn't want to do it, and I think that's the Marine Corps way. And he never wanted help, and so I blame the Old Breed for that. But you know, but yeah, it's okay. But I just wanted to say that I'm so grateful, and I love all you guys, and I'm just so happy that he made all these memories and with you guys, and he loved it, and these memories will never die. So I just want to say thank you.
Patrick Honey.
Pat.
Oh, wait, who gave him a mic?
You did.
Stop going through Grinder and find.
We're waiting. Why are we waiting?
No, don't do that. All right, don't do that. Don't do that. All right, I didn't think it was going to be today, but it's today.
Louder.
Yeah, I'll speak.
Like you're on Broadway.
All right, talking to Irene over here and Jake. I was talking to Irene over here and Jake.
Now we're going.
All right. Irene, hello. Jake, hello. Say hello to everybody because. All right, now look, Jake, hold on. Keep standing up. Because look at the size of this guy. All right? Now remember, Chief. Massive dude. He's about twice the size of you, though, Jake. Oh, here we go. My God, you sound like my kids. But your dad was a massive man. Enjoyed your father. And all I gotta say is like, your dad, I just want to say where he came from and what he did, right? Chief, you know, who played with Chief. Chief, big guy. I always said he. Here, I'll say one little story about Chief. When I came on this team, and he goes, hey, little man. He said this to me. He goes, hey, little man, you drink too much. This was after like 3 games, killing it, crushing it, you know. And I go, yeah, well, I need some JMO to get this shit going on, you know, like, and good dude. Okay, so, Chief, you got a point in 93, Proby School. It's 93, right? Irene?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, here we go. Assigned to ladder 154, 94, promoted to lieutenant, and then assigned to 143, promoted to captain, 07, and promoted to chief in 2014. This guy was a good dude. This guy did a lot of stuff. Played football on the NYFD football department, and he played with the rugby club. And then he played with the Old Breed, and then now I'm meeting Irene and Jake, his son, his wife. These guys are awesome, and this guy was a good man. So, to Chief, all I gotta say is, let's go.
To Chief.
Chief Phil Tufano. Don't forget the name. Phil Tufano, don't forget the name.
Next up, we have Colin Baird, otherwise known as Smash.
So, I have the truly honored job, however unenviable one, of trying to explain to a lot of people who never got the chance to play with Josh Moore what an amazing man he was. Nagel mentioned headstones. Every headstone has some numbers, a dash and a number. Well, we're the ones who spend time with each other during the dash, which is the most important part of that headstone, which is the life you live and the impressions you leave on everyone that you touched. Josh was objectively the nicest human being I have ever met. And those who played with him or met him, giant smile on his face the entire time he was playing, right before he assassinated someone. He was about 5'6", weighed 220, and hit like a tank. And he would giggle as the man beneath him was moaning. And he'd be like, yeah, got you good, right? Ha! And then he would stand back up. And no one could get mad because he helped them get up. So he could do it again. I am old enough to have played with Josh Stone, too young to have played with Kevin Shea. And a lot of us active duty folks, we are aware of Old Breed. We get a tournament every couple years, but we're never as involved as we want to be with this amazing organization. But last year in Quantico, I was there for some stuffy awards dinner. The Commandant was handing me an award, and Amy Shea was in the audience. So I had family. I never got to play with Kevin, but I played with his teammates, so he's one of my teammates. Those of you who never got to play with Josh, you played with me this weekend. You're his teammate. All of you. I enlisted in the infantry in 2007, and I have never been ashamed of a single tear that I have shed for my brothers. So if the tears start coming, you just live with it.
Soap's little brother.
We do amazing things, we do dangerous things, and we spend time living shoulder by shoulder, sleeping next to each other, and it leaves us with a sense of family that is built in months and weeks. And we say, that's my brother. And then you go to a funeral, and you see your brother's family, you see their parents. And I hope I never have to bury my child. And suddenly your experiences seem small. You're like, oh, we just played rugby together for a few years. And then you walk up and you hold your friend's mother's hand and you introduce yourself, and in my case, you go, oh, hi, I'm Colin. And she goes, huh? And I'm like, he might have called me Smash. And you see the world's biggest grin break out on someone's face, and they look you dead in the eyes and go, oh, you're Smash. Josh talked about you and all the boys every day. Whether you know it or not, you're not there for it. Our names are in the stories we tell our biological families. I was already a part of their family. I just didn't know it at the time. Amy didn't know she was part of my family yet. There she is. I am so proud to speak on your son's behalf and try to only capture. He always smiled, he always offered you a donut and then called you fat if you took it. It was always a trap. If music was playing, he was dancing. He would samba in the middle of a pitch before a scrum. That's how he got his hips loose. If there was a concert, he was there. And if you were playing a game and he was on crutches because he had surgery the week before, he would crutch up to the side of the field with two tall boys in his hands somehow. And then after the match, hold out the tall boys without dropping the crutches. To this day, don't know how he did it. I think he practiced. Everyone in this room is your family. Thank you for the gift of your son. And for all of you who didn't get a chance to play with that young active duty Marine, you missed one of the finest I have ever seen. He played on Camp Lejeune with the Misfits, active duty. He was all Marine, represented us in Rugby Town on live TV. And when he went out to Pendleton, he helped us. He helped revive the Ghost Riders. He dragged me out And I can proudly say we are in our second season of a combined Miramar, 29 Palms, Pendleton, all active duty rugby team. Desert Rats are part of the team, guys. Now, I talked about family and the effect Josh had on everyone. We came up with the idea to have a memorial tournament for Josh. We held a tens tournament on Camp Pendleton. Pendleton's, the pun wrote itself. We had 4 teams of Marines show up. We had 4 jersey kits, and we printed 50 extra jerseys for sale. This is the last one. Every one of these jerseys has a memory of Josh Moore on the front of it. 400 rugby players showed up to honor your son. 416 teams. And we played rugby all day, and we honored him every single second. Thank you.
Jason Towns. Jason. Oui, oui.
So Ron Payne, he was a Marines Marine, and I'm sure we could say that about all 47 of the Marines on the board here, and everybody that's talking about tonight. He was an imposing person. He was just like almost 6'7". He could have gone to play D1 football if he wanted to, but he decided he wanted to go follow into his father's footsteps as a Marine. He wanted to follow into his uncle's footsteps, who was a Marine as well, because that's who he was. He wanted to give back. He wanted to be a Marine. And there's a few guys in here that knew him and knew him pretty well. I know Boo has talked about him before, previous years. He served with him. He deployed with him. He introduced the sport of rugby to Payne. And other guys who have played with him have visited him in his hometown in Lakeland, Florida. He is somebody who brought people to him. And he was a guy that would do anything for you. And one of his most endearing parts about him is not just who he was and how he carried himself, but also his laugh. It was contagious. His giggle was contagious to everybody that heard it. You might not have seen him even though he was 6'7", but if you could hear his giggle, hear his laugh, you know he's in that room. And he was somebody that was brought the room to life. He really was. I know I met his sister today for the first time. I know he's got other family here tonight. So thank you for your son, for your brother, for having him be a Marine, raising him, training him to be who he was. And not only is his legacy going to be continued on by us, but he's also got his name on the post office in his hometown in Lakeland, Florida. So not only is his legacy going to be continued on by us, by keeping his name alive, by keeping his memory and his legacy alive, but he's going to be remembered. He's going to be remembered forever. So thank you, Payne. Thank you for the gentlemen who are here, have met him and known him. He is somebody who will always be near and dear to all of our hearts. He will never be forgotten.
Mark Okasich.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here. And I'm not going to yell. I promise I won't yell. First of all, I just want to thank my family for being here. My family's been here. My family's been here for the last, I don't know. I think my girls came here when they were 11 years old, and they heard Boo Brown tell the story of Ron Payne. And I didn't serve in combat. I was a fucking pogue. Oh, sorry, if you have kids, I'm gonna swear, sorry. I was a pogue, and the way I give back is being part of this organization and seeing all you friendly faces and some that don't like me very much, but that's okay. I just want to thank my family for being here and supporting me in the efforts that I spend way too much with these guys and not enough with my family, so thank you for being here. I didn't serve with Corporal Tyler Trevelyan, and I'm embarrassed by that. One, I'm too old, and two, I probably wasn't man enough to be an infantry Marine and be somebody as good as Tyler Trevelyan. Tyler's mother, Gina, is here, and I'm very excited to have her here. And look, I don't have any stories of Tyler. I'm gonna read his obituary though, because I think his obituary does a great job of telling who Tyler was, what kind of Marine he was, which translates to the battlefield, which translates to the rugby pitch. Tyler Trevelyan, born January 29, 1982. Killed in action, June 15, 2005. Assigned to 1st Battalion, 5th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, Camp Pendleton, California. He would have been a Ghost Rider. Died June 15, 2005, when an IED exploded directly underneath his Humvee during combat operations near Ramadi, Iraq. We've all had too many friends killed near Ramadi, Iraq. Fuck that place.
Yes.
Trevelyan was killed with other Marines, Lance Corporal Jonathan Flores, Lance Corporal Chad Maynard, Lance Corporal Dion Whiteley, and Corporal Jesse Jaime. I have to say that many names that were killed together. Trevelyan and his Alpha Marines were conducting a mission through a portion of their company's area of operations when the IED detonated. Trevelyan's friend and platoon member, Lance Corporal Ben Lively, said Trevelyan was born in Colorado and proudly claimed Texas as home. He was always the first to remind you that he was raised as a Texan. Lively said, adding that Trevelyan was an outstanding Marine. He was a Marine like any I've seen, he said. He proudly wore his uniform, had incredible bearing, and his attention to detail was unreal. I'm afraid that wouldn't have made him an old breed. Sorry. According to Lively, Trevelyan's meticulous nature and attention to detail saved many Marines' lives during his 2 deployments to Iraq. In Fallujah, he spotted countless weapon caches when no one else could see them. In Ramadi, he found where several IEDs were buried. Lively continued to say that Trevelyan had an uncanny eye for uncovering hidden enemy material. He discovered the threats and diverted his Marines, which saved their lives. At 6'3", 220, Tyler Trevelyan made for one mighty Marine, but he was known to be a caring friend to his fellow Marines and strangers and would go to great lengths to please others. He was a great friend, Lively said. You could ask anything of him, and he would find a way to make it happen. He would run through a brick wall for you. Tyler Trevelyan is old breed, because all of us will run through a brick wall for each other, I believe. After graduating from Plano East High School in 2000, Tyler attended Collin Country Community College and played with the Dallas Athletic Rugby Club. He is survived by his parents and his brothers and sisters, and I'm proud to say that Gina's here tonight because of the efforts of the old break.
So this is non-standard, but we found a good buddy and friend of Lance Corporal Michael Glover. Tommy Judge, come on up.
Tommy.
Look how funky you got the suit on, man. Looks better than you, man. Look at his suit. Say something, man.
You automatically won best dressed. This is gonna go really well.
That's what I came here to do.
Tommy, you gotta carry it, man.
Hey, Tommy, thanks for not asking for a black polo. Oh, boy.
Come on. Come on. You do it.
Good evening, Marines, families, and guests.
Yeah.
My name is Tom Judge, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about Lance Corporal Mike Glover. Due to age and proximity, Mike's mother, sister, and closest friends could not be here. It is an honor to speak on their behalf, especially in the company of those representing other fallen Marines as well. Mike was as charismatic a friend as anyone I've ever had the privilege of knowing. So much so that his name became my son's middle name, Jack Francis Michael Judge, who is here listening now. I came to know Mike fresh out of infantry school. He had a boot camp as a split reservist. Both PFCs, we and our other junior Marines in the machine gun section of weapons platoon became close instantly. We had to. It's PFC Lance Corporal survival out there. Mike was friendship glue though. He took my phone number and then he actually called. Then invited me on a trip to Notre Dame with his other close friends and so on. He had bonds going all the way back to the Rockaways, which is in New York City, in Queens, Albany State, Pace Law School, and just about everywhere else. He showed up for them, and they showed up for him. He cared, he asked questions, he remembered everything about the people he called his friends. His smile was welcoming and tough to forget. Mike brought people from all backgrounds together. Law school people with Marines, Rockaway bar owners with Marines, other schoolers, everybody he knew with Marines, basically Marines with everyone from that point on. And Mike was patriotic. Sounds too easy to say for a Marine. Aren't we all? Maybe. Mike was an American idealist. He truly believed in our country and all of its greatness. The difference was his idealism was rooted in reality and one that requires a high level of participation. He joined patriotic clubs when he was younger and fraternal organizations as a young college guy. But what really changed things was the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Mike lost at least one close friend in that attack, and his childhood community, which the Rockaways is part of, got rocked because everybody is a cop or a fireman out there. Mike believed in our country's response, but probably waited on enlisting due to college. His law school ambitions kicked in, but even that was dedicated towards service. His dream was being a district attorney, prosecuting criminals. He had lined up an internship with the New York City District Attorney's Office. He was making reality happen, and I do think he would have been an amazing district attorney. When Hurricane Katrina happened, it was Mike Glover who called 4 Marines to go down and help out. I was the 4th, I declined, and I regret it to this day. The 3 of them drove 1,000 miles to lend a hand and subsequently earned a medal for it. I'm going to jump in on that actually. A Marine commander down there actually tried to jam him up. They ditched out of his office, did a lot of help. A different Marine unit found them around patrolling on their own and wrote them up, submitted to his unit, 225. Then our Iraq deployment came up. Not one to miss that generational call, Mike volunteered to augment and deploy with 1st Battalion, 25th Marines, along with myself and 64 other Marines. This was his moment, and he was excited. He was proud. We all were. At some point during a phone call home from our workup, and I'm going to misquote this a little bit, he said it was okay if he came back missing limbs or he didn't come back at all. This was his duty. Mike wasn't predicting his future. He wasn't talking of glory or envisioning his demise. He was all in, and he was giving his family the only realistic peace you might manage to give loved ones when you're heading to war. It was a pleasure to train and serve with Glover. He was always cheerful and optimistic. We rented cars on leave, drove to Boston when in the east, drove to Palm Springs and Vegas when in the west. The mission of the Marine Corps resonated well with him. He never abandoned a friend, and he was a hell of a good time to be around. There's never enough time to spend with a guy like that. On August 16, 2006, Mike Glover was shot and killed by a sniper at the end of a patrol in Fallujah in an ambush. That initiated a furious firefight fought by Mike's 3rd Platoon. On Radio Watch that day in Bravo Company COC, I answered the radio to a frantic radio man on the other end trying to convey chaos and requesting help. He got it. As his reports began to take shape, he transmitted their KIA, Echo 3 Golf. It couldn't be. My mind raced to identify, my mind raced to identify all the Lance Corporals with a G in their name from 3rd Platoon. But my mind settled on Glover, and I knew. If it couldn't be, it was. Further info also came across with the 2nd KIA, Oscar 3 Mike. I cannot speak about Mike Glover without coming to the Marine who in death is forever linked to him. Captain John McKenna IV, 3rd Platoon Commander. Captain McKenna ran into the open and was shot by the same sniper. For that, he was awarded the Silver Star. Worth mentioning is that the sniper shot 2 more Marines, but their body armor saved them, and miraculously, no injuries, and they fought on bravely. Back home in New York, my father went to Mike Glover's funeral. He also saved some New York City newspapers that covered it. It was a massive, absolutely massive turnout, underscoring just how awesome and charismatic Mike Glover was. Mike chose a life full of service, greatness, and duty when he did not have to, and he made good on all of his promises. Once again, thank you for inviting me here and allowing me to share just a tiny bit about Lance Corporal Mike Glover. I'm an attendee, but if the shoe were on the other foot, Mike would have been the organizer. Thank you for keeping his and all these fallen Marines and soldiers' lives sacred and alive. There's truly no finer brotherhood than the Marine Corps. Semper Fidelis.
Yes.
Tommy Meehan.
You ready for my Constantine?
Yeah, sorry, I don't want my Constantine. Mike Mulcahy.
Well, it's been. Nagel called me 20 years ago. Mike. The only person in America who makes Mike a 2-syllable word is Jeff Nagel. Mike, we're putting a team together for Kevin, and it's in Vegas. So my first Old Breed experience was 20 years ago, and we're playing in Vegas, and we got about 20 guys, and we're all hungover, and it's like 5 minutes before the game, and Justin's with us. He's playing with us. And all of a sudden we see a Ryder truck pull up along the street, and 2 guys just jump out and double park this Ryder truck. And it's Kevin Gilligan and Sam Pelham. Now, I had known Sam, and I thought he was smarter than that. But no. He fell under Gilligan's spell, acquired a Ryder truck to be at the pitch on time, to play, to win this Vegas tournament that we stumbled into. So, I don't even know, it doesn't matter. So, that's how the Old Breed really started. And today, look around, this is a beautiful thing. This is amazing. We have expanded And who would have thunk a bunch of Marine lawyers, Nagel and Mulcahy and Justin, could put this together and kind of advance the ball. So, to the families, thank you for being here. Thank you for your sacrifice. We are here for you. You have hundreds of brothers. You have hundreds of sisters for life. We, the old breed, will never stop. I'll be gone, Jeff will retire 6 or 7 more times. But it will continue. The Jason Towns of the world will continue with the club. The Tom Meehan's of the world will continue running this club. All of the young guys. Now, if Jake and Coco can have some more kids, that would even be better. So, a couple things about Justin, my friend Justin. Justin, I was a lawyer at Camp Pendleton. Justin followed me. And I think he played for, they had a base team at Camp Pendleton. I don't know the name of the team, but yeah, we got that. Justin, like all of our fallen, was an American hero. He was an American hero. His active duty time was wonderful. And in 2006, a sniper tried to kill him. Failed. Due to the courageous actions of Justin's Marine colleagues and a courageous Navy doc, he survived to begin the second part of his life. As many of you know, Justin dedicated efforts post-injury after his 19 surgeries over the years. He got married, had a wonderful life. He had many veterans' causes. He was a public speaker. He was everything the old breed tries to strive for. It wasn't the sniper that killed Justin in 2006. Unfortunately, it was cancer. In 2022. So, to the families, to the brothers and sisters in the room, those here and those who couldn't make it, we need to continue this mission. This is really the best organization in the world. I don't care what anyone will say. This is the best organization in the world. We support each other, we support the families, and we will continue to support each other and the families indefinitely. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, just a few more things about Justin. 2 things. You heard about him getting shot. You heard about him getting shot by a sniper, right? And it was his CO, captain, who ran out and pulled him out of the line of fire. Now, I've been drinking. I'm drawing a brain for it, but it was another Marine rugger. Okay, Packing the Wolf and Pack. Somebody from All Marine back in the '90s helped me out. But it was. What's that? DeGrassier. Yeah, Brian DeGrassier. DeGrassier was his CO, went out there and pulled him. He's the guy. Yeah.
He was not a ghostwriter.
All I can say is that's his loss. Okay. Okay. The other thing we talk about families here. Okay. We talk about families here. Okay. His wife Dahlia was gonna be here. She couldn't be here. When she found out she'd been dating Justin, she was on a Rhodes Scholarship, went to England. When she found out Justin had been shot, she abandoned her scholarship, returned home, and nursed him through the 19 surgeries that I was talking about, okay? Years later, they get married, they return to England. Why? She's got to resume her Rhodes Scholarship, and that's when he got cancer. All right? So we all talk about everybody on the board, but it's equally as important to talk about all the families here and what they've lost and what they've sacrificed. That is as important. The families here are as important as who's on the wall, okay? Because they've given so much love, heartache, pain for these losses. And I will tell you, for everybody that's living here, and it's about them and it's about everybody here. You know, every one of these families of all the fallen up there will tell you, you have no idea how fleeting life is. So take a moment every day to look at your wife, your husband, your partner, your kids, your parents, and give them a goddamn big hug. Semper Fi.
Steve Flynn, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Flynn. All right, so this next one is, I'm gonna take the honors here. We've all had like an experience where we get away from rugby for whatever reason. For many in here, it was like a deployment or something family-like or whatever it was. But then you come back, and 95% of the time when you come back, it's because of the people. When I had a brief romance with college football, when I came back, the face I see when I think about the people that drew me back to rugby, it's Jeremy Graysick's face. I was completely fascinated with him in every aspect right away. He was a fullback. He was an All-American at fullback, and then we moved him to 10. He was a full All-American there too. Like, he trained harder than he played, and he played awfully hard. Just a really great rugby player, awesome guy. You know, I had just showed up out of nowhere, and I played a little rugby before, and he just kind of welcomed me into the team, and I was just so excited to, you know, like we've all done, I found my people. And when I think about finding my people at that point, I can see Jeremy's face. We toured Ireland, and the Graysicks who are here tonight toured Ireland as well. And it was, as you can imagine, an amazing experience. We played this little college right there in Cork, and something amazing happened. Like, we're like 70 minutes into it, and we had won the crowd over. It was going badly, but we had won the crowd over, and we were only losing by 2. And part of the reason we won the crowd over was because Jeremy's a pretty handsome man, and he was kind of playing to the crowd. The whole student body showed up to this rugby match, and Jeremy was playing his cards pretty well. Yeah, you could hear the loud screams every time he touched the ball. Oh, a quick side story. There's a Rolling Stone article where Liz Phair's doing an interview, and they get into her personal life, and she's like, I totally not like me, but I just had this hookup with like a Marine. It's Jeremy Graysick. Yes. That is a true story. Yeah. So time's winding down. I'm thinking time might be out, and we're, like I said, we're behind by 2. We're somewhere forward of the 22 meters. Somebody goes in for a breakdown. Ball comes out of the breakdown, goes to Jeremy, who's playing 10, and he takes the ball and does this number. I had never seen anybody do a drop kick in practice ever. And yeah, and this was like the mid-90s. We didn't watch rugby on YouTube all the time. I was like, no! And it magically just hit the ground, left his foot, went through the posts, and I cried. Yes. Yeah. He could do no wrong. He was such a great dude. And the best part about that party, he was our captain, obviously. And you know, we picked the man of the match, whatever. And it's time to sing. And he looks over at his mother, Darlene, and he's like, Mom, I told you if you came on this trip, you're gonna get the real thing. And here I go. And And I don't even remember what song it was, but I remember I was uncomfortable watching Darlene drink her beer. Yeah, so there's many people in this room that served with Jeremy. He's a pretty famous infantry officer. He was in all the bad places and all the bad times, and he always came out unscathed. And I was lucky. I was like 4 days from leaving country, and I saw this silhouette come through the front doors of the chow hall, and I was like, oh no, is that him? And I walked over and I was like, oh, it's him. And I proceeded to assault him. I'm pretty sure all the third country nationals thought that we were love boys. I went right after him. I was so excited to see him. Yeah. So anyways, we solved the problems of the world that night with little mini bottles of vodka and Diet Sprite. And he talked about his Marines endlessly. And I got to learn a lot about Jeremy Graysick, the leader, and how much he cared about his Marines and how much he loved being a Marine. And I just got to see that grow as he moved on. And when he passed, I didn't take it that well. I was in complete denial. Like, I had 2 dreams in 4 days that I dreamed that he died. So I woke up, I'm like, man, that was a shitty dream. And then I went and checked, I'm like, I didn't dream it again. I've tried to look back and think about how lucky I am and how happy I am that I got to cross paths with a dude like Jeremy Graysick. He was just an amazing human, and I'm proud to know him, and I'm really honored that I get to speak to all my favorite people about a really good friend of mine. Thank you very much. We got Scott Davis and Kai Tooley.
Hey everybody, it's kind of tough to follow that.
Closer.
It's kind of tough to follow that. It's kind of tough to follow. It's kind of tough to follow that act, and kind of the common thread that we've seen tonight is it doesn't matter if you knew the person, if you played with them, if you served with them, it doesn't matter. If they put the uniform on and they laced up the boots, you know what kind of person they are and you know what kind of person they were, and that's the kind of people we have surrounded here in this room, and it's an amazing, amazing thing. I have the honor of wearing Master Sergeant Larry Tooley's cap on my arm. I rarely ever take it off, and it was a pretty amazing experience when I got it. I received it a couple years ago, and as soon as I got home, I called his widow, and I talked to her about what we do, who we are, the why behind everything, and she had no idea. So that's kind of the inception of this event was from that phone call, and she was moved to tears about the why behind it, that we're keeping her husband alive. And I'm going to piggyback on Jeff Preston's story about coincidence with Cash and how that happened earlier today. So I'm talking to Kai's mom, and I'm like, well, we're talking about her husband, which I did not have the pleasure to play with or serve with. I was a grunt from North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, and he was an air winger from Cherry Point. So our paths never crossed. But what the coincidence comes into, we're talking, I'm like, she has a son, he plays rugby, it's awesome, so we're talking, he plays outside center. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, I play outside center. We're talking, he's 20. Oh, my son's 20, that's great. When was he born? October. Oh, that's great, my son's born in October. October what? October 7th. Get the heck out of here. My son is October 7th. So these caps are given randomly, but we have sons that play the same position, same birthday, and it's amazing. So that's the power of doing the next right thing for the next right reason. Things happen for a reason, and it's amazing. And I can't speak to Master Sergeant Larry Tooley as a man or a rugby player, but again, if you put on a uniform, laced up the boots, I know what kind of man he is, and getting to know his son a little bit, I definitely know what kind of man he is. And I'll let Kai speak to him that a little bit here as well.
So, my dad never really talked about rugby. He never talked about work. He tried to shield me and my mom from all the dangers that he went through or whatever else the case may be. With that being said, he was always a protector. Whoever you were, wherever you were, if he knew you, if he didn't, he would try to protect you. He would try to teach you right from wrong, good and bad, that and the such. So I would love to become the man that he was. He was great. He was my dad. I mean, what else can I say? The little that he did talk about work and rugby, he always said that the Marine Corps was a big family. Once you're in, you're family. There's nothing more than that, you're family. Same thing with rugby. Once you join the rugby team, you're family. And I would like to thank everybody here for treating me like family. As soon as I got here, yeah. So, all I really have to say is thank you for supporting me, supporting my dad, and I just know he would be appreciative of it as well. So, thank you.
You have kitchen duty tomorrow morning.
Sparky and General Tooling. It's just General. We're lucky enough to have a special guest. As many of you know that have served in the recent past, this man has been a huge supporter of Marine Corps rugby throughout his tenure, and if you've probably even seen him show up at your practice. Ladies and gentlemen, General Tooling.
Thank you very much. For those people who have had the privilege of sitting through this evening's events, I hope you take some notes and write them, because we got a lot of work to do. I think that we almost turned the corner in rugby in the Marine Corps.
General, close to your mouth, please. Thank you.
All right. And we came close to turning the corner in rugby about 15 years ago, where the powers that be were willing to accept rugby as a sport and started supporting the rugby program in the Marine Corps, almost to the point where we had an intramural. Anybody played intramural rugby? All right, you remember that? I mean, we were really cooking with gas. We sold rugby as being an athletic sport, it's going to bring you endurance and physical fitness. But we also turned it as a tactical means of studying your profession. Because, you know, the same gaps and seams that I'm looking for when I was going through the streets of Fallujah with my boys is the same thing you're looking for when you're out there in a match. And if you combine the two, you become that much better. And I think it's vitally important. The other thing I wanted to bring up, because I think you guys have touched on everything tonight, but you do have a responsibility to get the Marine Corps to support this. And quite frankly, your leadership in the Officer Corps, et cetera, and Staff and SEAL Corps is to make sure that it's written down, the tactics are written, and training we engage in training, and really put the pedal to the metal, as they say. Because the reason why we were so successful in Iraq and Afghanistan, in my estimation, and something that really worries me, and I'll close with this, is that I think when people came back from Afghanistan, the newspapers were talking about how withdrawal from Afghanistan was a loss, and that it was a shame that we had to leave with our tails between our legs. Absolutely infuriated me, because it's not true. First of all, every one of our Marines, and sailors and soldiers who worked together, we didn't fail, we succeeded. If you think about the circumstances in Afghanistan when you had over 23,000 people evacuated from the airfield in Kabul, you say, how can you possibly do that? Imagine the fact that you now are loading aircraft, and aircraft are coming in at 25, 30 flights a day, and taking out, it ended up at 27,000 refugees and evacuees. How do you do that when you got every person on the airfield that's being loaded in an airplane has to be screened, check for bombs, IEDs, etc. Next to impossible to do. But the procedures and the courage that it took for our Marines and sailors, etc., to go out and direct the effort and direct it in a successful way. Yes, we did lose some Marines, and that was a tragedy. But we and those folks in Afghanistan did an incredible job. And they're true heroes, and they need to be rewarded. And I bring that up just to say that there's a standard we need to get to, and you need to all go back, those of you who are still on active duty, and those who have senses and claws inside this organization. You need to make sure that you start talking about what we need to do and how we need to bring rugby into the curriculums across.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you again. It was really a privilege, and it's so good to see this progress being made. My hat's off to all of you.
Thank you, sir. We're up on the thing. We're announcing names. What about Sparky? That was it. That was it. That's it. Then we go on to the next stage.
Seamus. Please rise. I propose a toast to those that we honored this evening.
All right, well, here we go. Ready, Murph?
Almost. Major Dan Angelhoff, Jr. Sergeant Bronson Babcock. Lieutenant Colonel Brett Becken. Major Michael Brown, Jr. Lance Corporal Richard Bersetta. Lieutenant Colonel Justin Constantine. Lance Corporal Chris Cosgrove III. Sergeant Jameson Forbes. HM3 John Freilish. Lance Corporal Michael Glover. Major Jeremy Graysick. Lieutenant Colonel Dave Green. Major Ryan Hansen. Lance Corporal Eric Hersberg. Lieutenant Brian Hoke. Sergeant Donald Lamar II. Sergeant Aaron Lawson. Major John Lee. Captain John W. Maloney. Sergeant Paul McDevitt. Gunnery Sergeant James Misa Jr. Staff Sergeant Joshua Moore. Major Kevin Nave. Corporal Ron Payne. Gunnery Sergeant Cap Pelletier. Captain Michael Quinn. Captain Patrick Rapakaw. Major John Ruocco. Staff Sergeant Joshua Sanchez. Sergeant Adam Scholler. Staff Sergeant Andrew Seif. Second Lieutenant Christopher Shea. Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Shea. Corporal Jared Shoemaker. Sergeant Nick Sloan. Lance Corporal Keontae Snow. Staff Sergeant Josh Stone. Major Keith Takabayashi. Master Sergeant Larry Tooley. Corporal Tyler S. Trevelyan. FDNY Chief Philip Tufano. Staff Sergeant Alan Walker. Corporal Matthew Wargo. Sergeant Ben Williams. Staff Sergeant Jeremy Woodruff. Major Alan Ziegler.
Services.
We ring the bell for all my fallen Navy brothers.
We ring the bell on behalf of all my Army ruggers.
We ring the
bell on behalf of all my Air Force fallen Army brothers and sisters.
We ring the bell on behalf of the Coast Guard fallen. We ring the bell for all our fallen Marine brothers unknown to us. A toast to the memory of all the fallen. All right, Marines, here we go. We're going to have all 4 verses up on here, so make sure you can see the screen.
Just start singing, let's go. We'll let drunk Jim fucking run it. Come on, bro. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title
All right, guys, before we're
I'm ready.
all right, guys, lock it up. One more, guys, one more thing. Jeff Nagel. Hold up. Jeff Nagel, front and center, sir. So guys, hold up. We got a quick little 2-minute. The only person that gets ripped on more than Jeff Preston is Jeff Nagel, the godfather of the old breed. The families that are here, the lives that we've been able to touch over the past 20 years would not. I'll keep talking. I don't care. The lives that we've touched over the past 20 years wouldn't have happened if it weren't for this man right here. So everybody just give a round of applause to this man right here, Jeff Nagel. And a real quick, we had a flag handmade from Flags of Valor, and we had the stars are inscribed in the order of the fallen on the stars. Their initials are engraved on the stars of this flag. So on behalf of Old Breed, Jeff Nagel, thank you. And a real quick slideshow of the 20 years or more of Jeff Nagel right here.
Why was he born so beautiful? Why was he born